Robbie, it feels like this final, for the neutrals, very tasty because it feels like it's everything. It's the trophy, it's the Champions League playing next season, but it's also the money from the Champions League, or it's bust.
Yeah, well, it's going to be bust for Ange Postecoglou at Tottenham. Wow. I mean, it's amazing to think these two teams, after the season they've had, are at this situation where one of them is going to play Champions League football. I mean, it's just incredible. It's season saving, is it? In terms of Tottenham, I think more so than Manchester United. The managers, Rúben Amorim, has said that this doesn't save our season, we've been awful and it's not good enough. I think for Tottenham, and Ange Postecoglou is saying that he always wins a trophy in his second season. This is kind of remarkable. He might actually do it. And there's still strong talk that he still lose his job at the end of it, even if they win with the trophy and then gets fired before the start of next season. So my head's all over the place with that one because that's a tough kind of call to make. But it's remarkable where we are right now in this competition.
Yeah, where do you stand on that, Tim? Because if Tottenham do lift that trophy, we've got to remember not since 2008 have they had silverware in the cupboard at Tottenham. It's going to be a brave Daniel Levy to fire him, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, Daniel Levy, he can do that. I mean, he's got the medal for it. I think the way that they've played over the last 18 months is who Tottenham are. And you can have a good cup run, and by the way, big credit to them if they get a trophy in the trophy case. But this is who Tottenham are. They have a ton of injuries. I tend to think it's because of the way that they play. I like the team that they have. I like the squad. They've just not done enough. And I do. I think if they don't win, he's out. If they do win, I think there's a high percentage chance that he's out as well, which is a bit crazy. I mean, on the Man United side, I tend to disagree with Rúben Amorim. He's trying to build. He doesn't have the players. This win, getting them into the Champions League, getting them more money, kind of starts to at least piece some of this project together. It's, of course, not the final product, but it allows you to feel like you're moving in the right direction.
Who's more equipped to play in the Champions League?
Yeah, I knew one of these questions was coming. Who's more equipped to make this...
To play in the Champions League next season? Before they get in the summer window.
Tottenham Hotspur. I think Tottenham Hotspur's team is better.
Yes.
The squad is better. Yes. Man United are just in a bit of a mess. There's going to be all sorts of coming and going, I think. So I think Tottenham is the answer to that question.
But they can't possibly go into the Champions League and play the way they play.
Well, I'm here to see it. I mean, it's going to be fun if they do. They stick with him.
It'll be fun for you and I, yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe if he's got all his players fit again, that's what he'll say. Maybe we can make a fist of it. I mean, it's going to be a big decision to fire the guy. Spurs have... I mean, how much have you heard about Tottenham being, flaky and Spursy? He might win him a trophy, and then you're going to get rid of him straight away. I mean, the more I think about it, I'm like, you can't. The scenes will be there, and there's Maddison's talked a while about the manager. I think that's a tough call to make.
And even though they haven't won a trophy since 2008, Tottenham are notoriously a cup team. That's kind of what they are. They haven't won the league since the early 60s, and have always been a cup team.
Jules, you look at the last 16 seasons for Tottenham Hotspur, only 3 managers have taken them to a cup final. Ange Postecoglou is now one of them. You know the other 2, Mauricio Pochettino and Jose Mourinho as well. Despite the season that they've had in the league, which has been simply dreadful, you've got to give him some credit for getting him to this point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Spurs for a long period of time, we've been talking about how long it's been to have an opportunity to win a trophy. It was 2008. Everyone knows that. Everyone involved with the football club must be sick of hearing that noise coming out. And Ange Postecoglou has given that group of players a chance to turn things around. And yeah, forget the season. I've said it a few weeks ago. Sooner it's over the better. Losing 19 Premier League games is unacceptable for a football club and those group of players because they're way better players than the position they're showing. But they've got one last chance. Yeah. Along with Manchester United, who've been terrible as well. But Tottenham at the start of the season, having missed out on Champions League football 12 months ago by 2 points to Aston Villa, he's flipped it onto a positive. And it can still be a positive, 100%. This football club, like we've talked about, winning a trophy, it's about time. And I certainly believe they can beat Manchester United. They've beaten 3 times already. And I look at the players, and normally when you say, we're coming up against a Manchester United huge football club, I look at this Manchester United group of players, and I would fancy Tottenham. I really, really would. On paper, how many of the Manchester United players get into that Spurs squad?
Clap that up.
Boyd is looking at that thinking and if you go through the team, I look at Bruno, would he getting it? Probably. Ahmed, yeah. I tell you what, there's not too many more Manchester United players getting that Spurs team. When Spurs' best 11 is out there, and I think we need to mention the 2 centre-halves, magnificent in midweek. Professional performance, good performance, ugly. Job done, and they're in the final.
Within the attack, who's got the edge? Tottenham or Manchester United?
Well, between 2 teams, the best player on the pitch for either. The best player is Bruno Fernandes. With Bruno, I give the edge to Manchester United. Now, Tottenham have Solanke, that Brennan Johnson, and whether it's Sonny or Richarlison, we don't know what the health is.
Maddison is a big miss for them.
I'm giving Manchester United that. And look, Højlund is a player who struggled, but he's found a way to be impactful as of late. And it's usually with hard work, hold-up play, good runs. And Rúben Amorim has said he's finally starting to get the best out of him in terms of his work rate and how he can help the team.
Yep. You guys agree with that? You would give
I
you
agree.
the edge
I think
here?
with Bruno, yeah, that's all you have
Just
to say.
that
He's
player
carried
alone.
the team.
Just to give a little example with analysis in terms of Bruno, he leads the Premier League, number one in Premier League with key passes, with through balls and progressive passes. He's number one in the whole entire Premier League.
The way that Bruno operates, he's a step above the rest of the players in this final.
Mm-hmm. All right, so agreement here. What about midfield? Who's got the edge there, Charlie?
I'm going to go with Manchester United again. I look at the midfield for Tottenham, and it's Kulusevski, Basuma, and Bentancur is what we saw in this last fixture. Versus a Ugarte, a Casemiro, because they play with the two, and then if you want to throw in, Mainu, I'm going to give it to Manchester United in that edge as well. I just think the experience is overwhelmingly favoring Manchester United with Casemiro. I just think that with Ugarte and Casemiro, they finally have something. You can even throw in a Mason Mount in there.
Yep.
Kobe Mainu is a good person to come off the bench. I will give the edge to Manchester United.
Especially with no Madison for Tottenham. I agree.
Nico, you agree with that?
Yeah. Casemiro with the experience, I think Casemiro's been very questioned. For some reason, Real Madrid got rid of him. He wasn't at that height of his powers, and I think he had a hard time adapting to Premier League football, and he's finally found his rhythm, found his groove with Manchester United, paired with Ugarte, who also kind of struggled. Ugarte wasn't good at the beginning when he arrived at Manchester United. And remember, Ugarte played under Rúben Amorim in his system at Sporting. So I think they found that balance, giving that midfield a little bit of bite, and then pair that all with Bruno. There's an understanding there that they're starting to get to that gives this team, again, going back to that personality. Sometimes they're lifeless in the Prem, and it's like, really? And then they turn it up here.
But this is where it gets interesting, Claudia, because now we're going to look at the back line. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give the advantage to Tottenham.
Kuti!
I knew you loved Romero, but Manchester United, you don't feel any sort of security or safety when you're talking about the back line of Manchester United. So I think we're starting to see Tottenham change a little bit tactically of how they set up, knowing that we can't be exposed all the time. We can't always play high. And because of that, they're in the Europa League Final. So Mickey Van de Ven and Romero, I think Pedro Porro, who is number one in the Premier League with crosses, he gets constantly up and down the flank. I think Udogie's another solid defender. He's not going to give you too much in the attacking phase of play, but recovery speed, tough tackler. I'm going to give it to the edge
Jed
to Tottenham.
Spence has also been quite the revelation in the Europa League. It's funny because we want to give these guys flowers, but over the entire season, it's not been good. Romero and Van de Ven have been injured for large portions of the season, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why Spurs has been doing so poorly domestically too.
All right, Charlie, how about goalkeepers? Round it out for us here.
I'm going to
Good
give
question.
It is a good question. I'm going to give it to Onana. He, for all of the controversy around Onana, I think he is a little bit more up for these big moments. He has more clean sheets. I think he has a better save percentage, more saves than Vicario. I just feel, yes, he's capable of that.
That's not Vicario's fault, though.
No, that one.
How many shots is he facing versus Vicario?
Agreed.
I think he still he has more saves.
He's facing more shots. I think that speaks of how bad the defense is.
For Onana.
Yeah,
100%. I'm going to give the edge to Onana.
Wait, why is you saying in bigger moments? Because we see him in big moments give the ball away in key areas.
has Vicario played in the Champions League final?
You have that.
Yeah,
But recent form?
He had a phenomenal performance for Inter Milan all the way to the end of the Champions League final, in which he also played extremely well, which led him to this move.
That Onana
it's
is
a
not
different.
this Onana.
No, but we've seen hints of just how good he is. Now, it hasn't
that
been
Onana looked like
consistent.
Beckenbauer playing out of the back with his feet. I don't know where that went after Manchester United.
How can you play that with this Manchester United side?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Listen, I think Vicario's a top goalkeeper, and for a goalkeeper, there's just so much noise around Onana at the moment in a final. It feels like everyone's waiting for that Onana mistake to just hammer him for some reason, because there has been a lot of noise created, and Vicario has had excellent moments as well throughout his Spurs career.
You're splitting hairs.
And I totally agree that we're splitting hairs. For me personally, as a shot-stopping goalkeeper.
The stage is set for an electrifying showdown in Bilbao as Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur clash in the 2025 UEFA Europa League Final. Both Premier League giants have navigated difficult paths to reach this point, and now only one can lift the trophy on May 21st. Manchester United stormed into the final after a commanding 7-1 aggregate win over Athletic Club. Manager Rúben Amorim's tactical brilliance has been evident, and the resurgence of Mason Mount, who scored twice in the second leg, has given the Red Devils serious momentum. Amorim has made it clear, only winning the Europa League will make up for a disappointing domestic campaign. Tottenham, under the steady leadership of Ange Postecoglou, have shown resilience and flair, with James Maddison orchestrating play and Son Heung-min continuing to deliver in crucial moments. Spurs are hunting their first European trophy in decades. Postecoglou has downplayed the mind games and insists his team is solely focused on finishing the season strong. This final isn't just a clash of two teams, it's a tactical battle between Amorim's structure and Postecoglou's attacking philosophy. With contrasting styles and a trophy on the line, Bilbao is braced for a thriller.